special event alert.
We wanted on purpose to be late. We just wanted to fucking be late.
Which is excuse number 239 for being late for changeover, your weekly space news and variety show. I'm your host, Marty Smith, and I'm joined by Mr. History, Eric Perrott.
Thank God I wanted to be late. How's it going, Marty?
We're here to bring you the latest headlines and updates pertinent to all Guardians and to the other branches as well. So take your seats. Get informed and have a laugh as we present
Late for Changeover.
I like it.
This is not good. This is not getting off to a great start. Just like my whole home selling journey, the beginning of this podcast already. So,
Oh, it's gonna come, my brother. It's gonna come.
I know.
Oh, I forgot to tell you what I did the other night. You'll love this.
Let's hear it.
So my son is learning how to play poker. He started playing with me, and he's just Texas Hold'em. Wanted to get better at it. So him and his girlfriend were eating at a bar, and the bar happens to be a gay bar. It's downtown in Denver.
Okay.
And they offer a poker every Thursday night. Poker tournament every Thursday night. No buy-in. It's free.
Is it cards poker or
Yeah.
is it poker?
I know where you're going with this. Texas Hold'em, cards,
Okay.
poker. So he invited me down, and I said, "Yeah, I'll come down and play." And
And you knew about it, where it was, and okay.
Yeah, no big deal. So
All right.
went in, ate dinner. Food was okay. It's bar food.
Yeah.
But we had, let's see, about 40 players, 4 tables of about
Wow.
9. Yeah. So last man standing, took it all.
You won? Really?
Yep. Came
Wow.
down, won it all. My son didn't even make the final table, but he hung out with me until I was done.
Nice.
Won a $25 gift card. But I got to pick it up this Thursday because I'm going back to the championship table because I was invited back because I won the tournament.
Huh. Whoa. Was
Yeah, it was
everybody
cool.
with you gay? Playing?
Oh, pretty much, I think, for the most part. I
Okay.
think me and maybe 1 or 2 were.
Well, strike one up for the heteros. Well done.
Yeah. Took care of them. I mean, and nobody, it wasn't over the top. You know what I mean? They were very nice.
Right.
Everything
It
was
wasn't
very
like
cool.
a
Yeah.
flaming thing with a bunch of drag queens or something.
Correct. It was very well done. They had dealers,
Nice.
so you didn't have to deal your cards. Yeah.
Yeah,
It worked.
yeah.
It was fun. We had a good time.
Ah. And when do you go back?
Thursday night. You want to
This
come?
Thursday.
You want to come?
Yeah.
Okay. It's downtown. I'll pick you up.
Okay.
I got to make sure I can get you in because
wait.
this is the championship table.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to ask Kyle to see if I could bring you.
All right. Let me know.
It's a good time, man.
I probably won't wear this shirt.
Probably not. But I don't. It's not like that. You could wear it; nobody'd care.
No, I know. I'm with you.
So
Well done, Eric.
Texas
Poker
Hold'em, baby.
King.
It's my new gig for my retirement. So I'm gonna become a freaking Texas Hold'em poker player.
I wish I could enjoy poker. It's such a bluff game, though. Yeah, that's why it's just like I'm too like I can't keep a fake, just a stoic look or whatever. I'm too obvious. Too obvious.
You're too easy.
Too
to read.
obvious in a place that wouldn't be great to be obvious. So
True.
well, let's get into the news here. Let's do a few stories, do some history, and get out of here, right? Let me get back to my baseboards. Our lead story is from the Miami Herald, reposted by military.com. So I don't have a space story. So we're going to start off with an Air Force story, right? Before I flash this headline,
Yes.
I know you played football,
Yes.
right? But did you ever do any other intramural sports while you were in, through the base and all that kind of stuff?
Softball. Yeah. Big time
Softball, of course.
Played for the base and the bar in the Philippines for a bar.
Did they have the rule where you could only hit so many home runs, and then if you kept hitting them, they'd be outs?
No.
Because have you heard those softball leagues that do that?
I have. Yeah, because everybody that steps up hits a freaking home run.
Right. And they would only allow.
And those DeMarini softball bats, DeMarinis, you've heard the term. It's a DeMarini. It's the brand name. Damn, man. All you got to do is stick it out there. The ball's flying.
Oh, no kidding, right?
Yeah, it's crazy.
The thing that always drove me crazy about intramural sports when you're playing on base is everyone is all conference. Everyone is all state because you have no way to check, right? So everybody's like, oh, yeah, when I played all state, it's like,
Now, intramural, when you played squadron ball, squadron against squadron, nothing for base. I mean, then you played people that weren't as good, not so good, and it was more fun. It was about drinking, during the game or something.
Well,
when you played for the base against other bases, or you were a traveling team,
yeah, sure,
all Air Force team.
I don't know. I think it was worse just playing regular intramurals because those guys are all unproven. They're all ego driven, and they're all former all states. Every one of them. Well, listen to this story out of, like I said, Miami Herald reposted at military.com. Veterans stole over $150,000 from MacDill's base or sports program in Florida.
What a headline, man. It's like all the veterans came together in this one little room and we said, let's take it down.
Well, kind of. There was only two.
Okay.
And they did it, right? So 2 U.S. military retirees, including the longtime intramural sports director at a Central Florida Air Force base, stole more than $150,000 from the base's sports program over 15 years.
Wow.
Keith Pulowski, 63. This could be you, Eric. 63, who led the program at MacDill Air Force Base in Tampa since 2006. And Edwin Ortiz, 58, which would be me, a government contractor who provided referees to officiate intramural games through his company, are now facing prison time.
Wow.
At MacDill Air Force Base, active duty airmen and other personnel can participate in the year-round intramural sports program, which prosecutors said is supported by congressionally appropriated Air Force funds. Okay. Can't be that much, right?
No, all they're doing is providing a field. They don't provide gloves or bats or balls.
Right. Well, listen to these two schemers. Pulowski became the program's director in 2006 following his retirement. The way the system was supposed to work was that at the beginning of each intramural sports season, Pulowski would recruit teams, set the game schedule, and then determine the number of officials needed based on the number of teams and games played. Okay, sounds easy. Pulowski was expected to use active duty members to meet officiating needs before relying on officials or referees provided by outside contractors. Okay, so use active duty guys. Can't find them. Okay, then we can contract out. Well, Ortiz, the other guy, just so happened to run a company that provided officials.
Right? Really? What's that company called?
I don't know.
How do you establish? I have a pool of umpires,
right,
for you to rent out.
It's a weird business model, but apparently that's what his company did. So when active duty personnel could not officiate the games, Pulowski was responsible for finding referees for one of two approved government contractors, including Ortiz and his company. Instead of selecting the least expensive contractor, Pulowski steered all officiating duties to Ortiz's company. and he scheduled games around Ortiz's schedule. I know. As part of the scheme, Pulaski also worked for Ortiz as a referee.
Wow.
So the prosecutor said he was double dipping because he was paid by Ortiz while also receiving his Air Force salary for being the sports director. Pulaski and Ortiz lied about the number of games that had been officiated in invoices and paperwork they prepared, leading to Ortiz receiving more money than he was owed, according to court documents. Ortiz would pay Pulaski money that came from the overpayments. So
here we are, Marty. We're sitting in the Office of Special Investigation. We're in the OSI office, and we're talking about, we have a case for you, investigator. You get to go look at an old guy trying to scam freaking, what do they call it?
Intramural sports?
Yeah, but what's the name of the rec center?
Yeah, sure, the rec center.
But it was called something else. Jesus Christ, I can't remember the name.
What?
I'm sure
MWR, are you?
That's what I was trying to say.
Okay.
MWR. So I'm sure the investigator for that was like, oh boy, I get to investigate some guy freaking
two old guys,
funds.
Two retirees.
Unbelievable, man.
Who basically, the director Pulaski just said, screw it. I'm sending all referee requirements over to Ortiz. I'm stroking him a check paid for by the government. And I'm going to do for 15 years. They did this for 15 years.
Well, I guess if you start getting away with it for 10, you're like, what's 5 more?
They'll never audit.
Never catch us.
Their audit's always off. They'll never look at my books. So
I'm curious how it became a criminal offense.
I don't know. I wanted to find out how they got set off on this investigation, but they got him, and they both confessed to it, right? Both men pleaded guilty to conspiracy to commit wire fraud, according to the U.S. Attorney's Office. In doing so, Pulaski agreed to pay or forfeit $67,000, and Ortiz agreed to forfeit $163,000.
Ow.
How do they have the money to just like, you got us? Let me show you a check for $163,000.
Well, they put their $150 that they stole into freaking IRA, and it started burning up some cash.
How much are they paying these refs?
Oh, man.
I mean, it can't be more than like $20 a game, right? $50 a game.
You would think. I wouldn't think it would be that much. Because a lot of times, the ones that I used to know would be Air Force people who did it on the side.
Right. I remember that too.
Yeah.
I remember that too.
So,
they had the striped shirt and everything else. It was like, okay, dude, whatever. But
I'm amazed.
So they haven't been sentenced yet, but they have made their restitution already.
Okay. So, we're having a beer and hey man, how can we freaking rob MWR?
Right? Or they're sitting there and the guy's like,
criminal.
God damn it. These Air Force guys are so unreliable. I had 5 games scheduled and every one of those son bitching enlisted guys backed out. And this guy was like, hey, I can provide your refs. Why don't you just give me all your games and I'll provide your refs.
I'll start an LLC for you.
We'll do this for 15 years. 2 retirees. So
again, that's like I would have loved to have heard the conversation that initiated this whole let's rob MWR of $150K.
I bet it wasn't, and you're right. But I bet it wasn't that. I bet it was like, man, I could pay you. I could guarantee that throughout this whole softball season, you'll have 3 refs at every game that I schedule. And he's like, really? That'd be great. That'd be a real help.
You're probably right.
And I'll even ref. And he goes, you know what? If you ref, I'll pay you.
It'll come around.
And they just like, they did it the first year and they're like, okay, let's keep doing this, man.
It worked. Again, I'd love to see the OSI agent who got the case. Oh, this is fun. These guys are really dangerous.
What do I got? What is it? Coke? Is it heroin? Human trafficking, maybe.
Murder?
Is somebody selling secrets? They're like, now we got these two old fucks over at the rec center,
MWR stealing funds.
and we think they're skimming anywhere from $100 to $150 a month.
Thank God I went to school for this. Oh man. That's crazy.
Either that, or we could send you out to the range and go investigate those M18s. So.
Yeah, M18s. Salty.
On a side note, did you hear also at F.E. Warren the story about the airman who they were drinking? He had an AK-47. I think he was showing off to his friends. Chambered around. It went off through the wall, struck another airman in the stomach, and that guy passed.
Man. He died?
Yeah. At F.E. Warren, where that security forces guy.
Oh, man.
Still no word on that M18.
Wow. I did not hear about that incident.
Yeah, that one came out. I was going to do it last week, but it was too long to start. So.
Wow.
Security forces, guys. Again.
Was it a cop too that did this one?
It was a cop too. Yeah. I'll find the story. I'll send it to you.
That's crazy.
I mean, there's not much to it. It just describes what I just described to you. So
an accidental shooting, man.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
All right, let's move on. You know, we haven't done a Navy story in a while. We haven't. We haven't. Oh, I can't remember the last Navy story.
I agree. So. I'm just chuckling on the past stories that we have done.
This one's about robots on the water, or drones on the water, if you will.
Oh,
right.
Well, you got drones everywhere else.
So the Pentagon unveils a ship that has no crew. All right. So this was up at Puget Sound. This wasn't where you normally think of. But it said the WION news site up there said a mysterious warship with no one aboard was recently seen in waters off of Washington State. And so the Pentagon confirmed soon after that article was out that the vessel was a project of the Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency, or DARPA. On August 11th, the Navy went public with details on the ship, including photographs of a bottle of champagne being smashed across its bow as part of a naming ceremony at a Puget Sound shipyard in Everett, Washington, north of Seattle. DARPA has marked a traditional naval milestone with the christening of USX-1 called the Defiant, a first-of-its-kind autonomous unmanned surface vessel designed from the ground up to never accommodate a human aboard.
So is this a normal size ship or is it something small?
I think, let me see if I got a picture of it. No, I couldn't. It's 180 feet.
Okay. All right.
I don't know how big that is.
180 feet.
Right. 180 feet. Let's see. Let me pull this up. That's what it looks like. All right. That's the USX-1 Defiant.
Doesn't look like much to it.
No, but wait till you hear, right? So I'll take this off. I'll show you a video of it later.
Okay.
The 180-foot long, 240 metric ton vessel built by Nichols Brothers Boat Builders and Serco Maritime at a small shipyard on Whidbey Island in Puget Sound is a demonstration model for the Pentagon's No Manning Required Ship, or NOMARS program. It's designed to operate autonomously in open seas for up to a year without needing human maintenance. The Defiant was built with a $25 million project development budget, according to the U.S. Naval Institute, and Congress just approved more than $2 billion for Navy uncrewed ship programs overall. The Defiant design aims to revolutionize naval architecture by eliminating the need for human crew aboard ships. The ship has no portals and doors, corridors, gangplanks, ventilation, bridge, or other open spaces that would be needed for a crewed ship.
Cheaper to make.
But it's hard to think that, you don't have to put ducts in. You don't have to put walkways in.
Right.
That's bizarre, right?
Well, I guess. Yeah. It's just strange.
Yeah. Greg Avocola, the No Mars program manager, who you'll see here in a second, said she's no wider than she must be to fit the largest piece of hardware. And we have no human passageways to worry about. It's weird, right? The Defiant is not armed, but the Pentagon has released concept plans that would include missile systems. So that's not going to last for long, as we always talk about on this
That's
show.
going to happen.
Oh, yeah.
And you would have thought as a drone, you were talking about something the size of maybe a little car on the water that you could, use it to drive in.
Yeah.
Or...
They did have some of those. They did have some of those little boats that were 20 feet long, but now this one's a whole ship. It's a whole ship. The ships will not have crews, but they will be operated remotely by officers and sailors. The Navy in February created the Robotics Warfare Specialist rating for crew who can operate and maintain the new ships and weapons. Can you imagine what the military is going to be like in 10
it's going to be a big video game. Some guys sitting
right
at a screen.
So the Army's flying drones. They're doing drone vehicles, right? The Navy has drone boats. Air Force is already
flying drones,
right? And the Marines are still going to be like, what the fuck?
How are we getting there again?
why don't we go build some of those Boston Dynamics robot soldiers so we could just go control those guys, right?
That's what I'm talking about. And you know what? There's got to be some of that already being developed too, right? Some kind of AI standalone.
Absolutely.
Robot kind of guy.
There's probably a half a dozen companies that are bidding on that right now, right?
Yeah.
Okay, here's the video about this guy talking about No Mars and the USX-1.
No Mars means no manning required ship. That's the name of the program. Defiant is the name of the ship. One of the challenges that we were really trying to tackle in No Mars is how do we take on building a ship that can go to sea for a long period of time with autonomy. There's really two pieces of an autonomy problem. There's the actual autonomy, but then there's the platform the autonomy is operating on. And if you're taking a platform that was designed for people and you try to make it autonomous, you can do that. The issue with that, though, is a lot of times the requirements that were designed into it for humans make it suboptimal for the autonomy problem.
None of the ladders.
What can you do with a ship design where you don't have the constraints of the people? The other side of the coin, though, is how do you make it reliable? It's hard enough if there are people there to fix it. And really, the only way you can prove that is by giving it a hard test, giving it a test that requires resilience and endurance. The at-sea demonstration that Defiant will undertake is designed for a long period of time in a real-world environment in real sea states, proving that the ship can operate untouched for a very long period of time.
Well, without weapon systems, what's it supposed to do?
Yeah. Well, proof of concept, I think.
Probably.
It's like, we don't have any weapon systems, but look, this would be perfect for weapon systems.
That's going to be coming for sure.
Of course. Yeah. Why else? What do you, unless you're just going to have a bunch of cargo ships, uncrewed cargo ships?
That's the only thing you can think of, right? It doesn't have any other purpose.
No, right.
If it's not some type of on-the-water weapon system, you're just transporting stuff.
Now, this may be a little ignorant of me, but I'm sure it is a little ignorant. Every Navy movie I've ever seen has a host of problems that the crew is trying to figure out on that ship, right? We got a grease fire in the galley. We got a leak in the nuclear reactor. They're always doing something. How can we just jump straight to a ship that's like, it'll be out there for a year. Don't need anybody.
But we can't do it with the people on it.
Right.
So, I don't know.
How do we just go? We're that good now?
So confused.
Yeah, no kidding. So I thought it was kind of cool. I thought it was kind of neat,
I definitely want to follow up with this. I want to hear what the concept is and what it becomes and what it is.
But it's gonna be insane 10 years from now.
I mean, you send it down to the Strait of Hormuz. It's got weapon systems on it, and it's doing active patrolling with some type of active camera, satellite system, radar, looking for bad guys. I got that. That makes sense to me. But if
Sure.
you're just cruising around the ocean, I don't know. What are you doing?
Well, the Predators and Reapers, or at least they were, I don't know if they are anymore, but they're flown in Creech Air Force Base in New Mexico.
And out of Vegas too, right?
They're launch and recovered. Yeah. But they're launch and recovered locally. But once they're up, these guys take over in New Mexico. So I guess why would you have to have a Navy crew anywhere else? Is it using the same link?
Well,
Right.
and the other thing too is I think you're probably going to have some type of intelligence collection
Oh yeah.
on the ship.
Right.
It's got to be.
Absolutely. Right.
How that works, I don't know, but I'm sure it is.
About the only concept of unmanned stuff that still requires a man is the Air Force's concept of having like one fighter and like 2 drone wingmen. Right. So you still got to have the guy up there, I guess. But I don't know if he's controlling that.
Wow.
So I don't that's going to be fascinating. So when we're old and gray, these forces are going to be look like, hey, we don't need to have a physically fit crazy guy. We need to have a smart guy who can sit for 8 hours a day in front of this damn thing, much like the drone pilots are doing right now.
Yeah, eating their bag of chips.
Yeah, sure. Orbiting a predator for 8 hours at a time.
Yep.
This ship's going to be out for a year.
I would assume there'll be 3 shifts around the clock tracking, doing whatever at that too, right?
Yeah. Right. And then I don't know. It's weird. It's a weird concept. Be interesting to see more because something's gonna break on that thing. Right?
Anything that's mechanical would seem
would break, right? So I guess they say, oh yeah, it has the endurance to be out there for a year, but how many ships are really out for a year straight? They go out for 3-4 months, they come back to port, that kind of thing. So
I wonder what weather can do to this thing. Can it withstand high seas?
Yeah, they did have one requirement. They said, hey, this thing's got to maintain at least 25 knots to keep up with the carrier group.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, it's light, but is it too light for?
Would it flip over and going up the wave?
Right. Maybe they'll design it be like a kayak, a big 180-foot, 25-ton kayak. To just be like, fine, we're good. Yeah, we're good. And then when you get the remote controlled subs that can be down there for a year, just waiting with tridents to launch. We're just sitting on the bottom. So we're going to have weapons orbiting to be recalled at a moment's notice. We'll have drone subs with nuclear tipped tridents at the bottom of the ocean, ready to be called up. All right, surface, pop them off, So
you'll find this interesting. I was having a conversation. It was a Marine. He was a lieutenant colonel. He did 6 years. He was a pilot. And then this young kid who
6 years, he got out as a lieutenant colonel.
Well, he was with the Guard, did some extra time, that kind of thing.
Okay, I got you.
And this young kid who works he's a college graduate from University of Wyoming.
Yeah.
But we were talking about what the future was going to look like. And he swears up and down that Terminator, the movie, is not a movie. It's a documentary. And Skynet is going to take control, and I'm looking at him. You need another whiskey, is what I'm thinking. But I'm looking and listening to him talk about how Skynet may have another name, but this is just another example of robotics taking over.
We have to keep it from becoming self-aware. That's all we got to do. That was the key line in Terminator. To become self-aware on August 25th, whatever.
But it's just another example of, guys who still think the world is flat, flatliners who think it's not round, it's flat. And I'm like, that
stupid? The concept of that movie if you trace it all the way through, it makes sense. But
Do you think it's
I mean,
a documentary?
well, no. I'm just saying, if this happened and this happened and this happened, then yes, that would then the war would happen, right? But it just doesn't. It seems like there's so many. We have so many safeguards and everything else. That would
Yeah.
never
Well, it just seems every time we talk about another example of, whether it be AI or a drone, or
happen.
we appear on the outside on a stupid level to be getting closer to that. You know what I mean?
Well, let's think about this for a second. World War I and World War II was a huge jump in technology, right?
Oh yeah, especially
We had an air
World
war
II.
that evolved, right? We had tanks, ships. We still had ships. Right? Ships
Sure.
were ships, right?
But they evolved.
But they had different weapons on the ships, right?
Absolutely.
Aircraft carrier changed the face of everything. But then everybody had an aircraft carrier.
Yep.
So, but it kind of stayed steady all the way up until recently. I mean, warfare was warfare. That's once we set those lines. Okay, we got better missile systems. We had better field artillery. We had better tanks.
Propulsion, all those things are evolving.
Right. We had better planes and bombers, but the concepts were still kind of the same. Not until Ukraine has shown that, oh, here's a 1999 drone, and I can fly it into your air base and take a whole bunch of shit out.
Yeah.
That's a whole lot. That's innovative. Even though it's cheap, it's still crazily innovative. And with all this drone stuff, I don't know. It would seem like the drones are so controlled by comms or GPS. As soon as that's knocked out, then this thing just orbits because it can't find a signal, right?
Agreed. But
now you can't contact it anymore.
I think the evolution of that technology is just going to continue to increase.
Sure. Yeah. Sure.
How long that's going to take? I mean, this ship is a perfect example to me. It's like what we said. If you can put a ship out to sea that doesn't require maintenance for a year,
yeah.
Why can't we do that with ships that have people on?
I
mean, you tell me it's capable there, but it's not capable here? Come on.
Are these guys effing things up?
Yeah, right.
The engine room? What are you guys doing?
I forgot it's the cop scratching his name in the freaking. Yeah.
Well, we won't need cops when we get the robot dogs, right? I mean, the robot dogs will patrol all night.
Yeah, I mean
they won't be going in the air raid shelters and the porta potties. The
video that Jake sent out to us last week.
That was awesome.
It wasn't real. You know that, right? It was a joke. No, look at it. You need to go back and look at it.
Oh, I did. Yeah. I looked at it. And for those who are listening, the video we're talking about was a guy developing a system to shoot down drones with I don't know what it was. He never did mention what he was using to lock onto all these drones.
If I'm not mistaken, I looked at it and then even brought it up further with the link.
Yeah.
It was a joke. It was him being funny.
Oh, okay. Well, I have to
take a look at it.
I have to go do some more on that. So
yeah.
Well, not knowing what your history is tonight, there is a pretty good history story that I came across in Task and Purpose. Right?
I would almost guarantee that you're not going to cover my history.
Oh, well, what a teaser. But this one is, like I said, from taskandpurpose.com. Last American fighter ace from World War II dies at 103 years old.
Wow.
What was Jim Lovell? He died at 97.
Yeah, 97.
What were these guys doing that we're not doing nowadays, man? They went through a war. They went through a war and they still lived almost a century.
And I think just recently, the last survivor of the Arizona passed away.
So I think you're right. Yeah.
No more survivors of the Arizona.
That's incredible.
Yeah,
absolutely.
This so far away, man.
And these are those guys who joined at like 16, 17. You know?
Yeah.
Which somehow they got away with right back then.
Crazy.
Donald McPherson, who scored 5 aerial victories and was considered the last living American ace pilot from World War II, died this month at the age of 103. McPherson served as a naval aviator during the war, flying a Grumman F-6F Hellcat over the Pacific Theater. He died on August 14th, according to his family. A funeral for McPherson took place on August 19th at his hometown of Adams, Nebraska. So let me let you look at oh no. Sorry, I thought I had this all set up. At McPherson, here he is.
In the cockpit.
There he is. Donald McPherson. God, what a badass picture. Every one of those pictures was so good, right?
Yeah, anytime you're flying with a soft helmet kind of with a canopy you have to close when you get up.
Yeah, crank it closed. It's
right?
not airtight. Right,
and
right.
You
right.
have to jump out of a freaking airplane that's on fire or, going to crash. You got to jump
No
out.
ejector seat.
No. You had to help, fight the G's and crawl out of it. It's amazing.
That's crazy. What a bunch of badasses. I mean that they had no alternative, right?
Correct.
They had to do it, right? I get it. But still, we look back on that and they're like, wow.
I certainly question the generation of today to do that.
Now, I think if they had to, they would.
I hope so.
Right?
I hope
but
so.
we are cursed by advances in technology that we don't have to do some of that stuff. The Marines are still the Marines. Yeah,
that's true.
The light fighters are still the light fighters, but everyone else is, we've moved on. So anyway, that's what he looked like back in the day. He was born on May 20. Oh, I'm sorry. 8 decades ago in the skies above the Pacific, Ensign McPherson was part of Flying Squadron 83. Over the course of just over a month, he scored 5 aerial kills, earning him ace status. Born on May 25th, 1922, he enlisted in the U.S. Navy in January 1943, taking advantage of the service waiver, waiving its 2-year college requirement for people hoping to become aviators. He earned his wings and was commissioned in August 44, marrying Thelma Johnson only a few days later. He then shipped out to the Pacific Theater with VF-83, assigned to the USS Essex.
Wow. That was quick, man. What a turnaround.
Yeah. You're out. Right? It was the later months of the war, but fierce fighting continued. McPherson soon saw combat. In April 45, he got his first 2 aerial kills, and this is based off of one of your histories, right? The USS Essex and its fighters were pulled into the bloody Battle of Okinawa. While supporting the ground operations, McPherson spotted 2 Japanese fighters flying low over the ocean. He dived down, shooting one down. He went to full throttle, moving to then take out the second shortly after. His squadron racked up 69 kills in one day.
Wow.
He gained ace status a month later in May. On May 5th, he spotted 3 Kawanishi E-7K float biplanes, which were flying towards American forces on kamikaze attack runs, which we always think of the Zero.
Yeah.
But they were loading everything that flew with explosives, right?
And it couldn't have been a fast float plane. So
no. So all 3 are flying. He spotted them. He flew his Hellcat to intercept them, and took out all 3.
Nice.
Which gave him ace status. McPherson continued to fly as the war continued. He is credited with 5 aerial victories and was awarded 3 Distinguished Flying Crosses for his actions.
Nice. Very nice.
Yeah, very, very cool. And then he went back to Nebraska and he served with VFW, a lot of other veteran organizations until he died. So
good for him, man. That's awesome.
Very
Great
cool.
Story.
Very cool.
Great story.
All right, Eric. What do we have today for U.S. military history?
I got a good one. So as the war rages on in Ukraine, and every time you look at a particular piece of information in the news that talks about, oh, we're World War III in the arms race again. We're going through building nukes. Well, tonight's history is the beginning of that back in the day. So the Soviet Union announces that it has successfully tested an intercontinental ballistic missile capable of being fired in any part of the world. The announcement caused great concern in the United States and started a national debate over the missile gap between America and Russia. Here we go.
We were always behind in everything.
Everything. Well, because we became such isolationists, right?
Yeah.
We didn't want to be part of anything.
Right.
So, for years after World War II, both the United States and the Soviet Union had been trying to perfect a long-range missile capable of carrying nuclear warheads. Building on the successes of Nazi Germany in developing the V-1 and the V-2 rockets that pummeled Great Britain during the last months of World War II, both American and Russian scientists raced to improve the range and accuracy of such missiles. Both nations relied heavily on captured German scientists in their efforts.
I know.
We're going to put you to work.
It's like we got some, they got some.
In July of 1957, the United States seemed to win the race when the Atlas, an ICBM with the speed of up to 20,000 miles an hour and an effective range of 5,000 miles, was ready for testing. The test, however, was a disaster. The missile rose about 5,000 feet into the air, tumbled, and plunged into Earth. Yeah. So just a month later, the Soviets claimed success by announcing that their own ICBM had been tested, had covered a huge distance in a brief time, and landed in the target area. No details were given in the Russian announcement, and some commentators in the United States doubted that the ICBM test had been as successful as claimed.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Lying commies.
If the Soviets did indeed perfect their ICBM, no part of the United States would be completely safe from the possible attack.
Yeah.
Less than 2 months later, the Soviets sent the satellite Sputnik into space. Concern quickly turned to fear in the United States as it appeared that the Russians were gaining the upper hand in the arms and space race. The American government accelerated its own missile and space programs because of it. So their weapon system that they claim did go up on July 26th of August 1957.
Wait, you said July 26th of August 1950.
I'm sorry, I said July? Really? I meant to say 26 August of 1957.
Wow.
That was
the Soviet test?
That was their Soviet test. It was successful. And that started the massive arms race and the Cold War.
Wow.
So it sort of feels like today with the whole Ukraine thing, knowing what they're capable of, what Russia's now capable of, what China's now capable of. We're looking to increase our warheads again.
Yeah.
You know, the SALT treaties are all freaking down. Yeah. Who knows?
Well, we don't have to worry about Iran.
We did determine a lot about them, didn't we?
Yeah, we took them off the table. So they're good. Yeah, they're good.
I just think it's interesting that, going all the way back to the beginning of World War II, because of the end of World War II, where the scientists had completed the V rockets.
Right.
And that started us down this road of intercontinental ballistic missiles, man.
Well, a comedy team would have had like some kind of draft back then between the U.S. and the USSR, right? Drafting German scientists. And we're like, we'll take von Braun, Werner von Braun. Come on over, right? And they're like, well, we got this guy. Well, we're taking...
Yeah.
Because that's
again,
team. It was so weird.
Think about if the V1 and V2 would have been developed in 1939 versus 44.
Oh, yeah. Well, he was working on that. I mean, he was making them all work on that. Right?
Yeah. So
and they had the first jet fighter too, I think, right?
They
developed a jet fighter at the end of the war, right?
Yep.
So
it was causing some hellacious problems.
Right.
So.
Right. Well, if Hitler wasn't tweaking on all the drugs he was doing, maybe he would have been a little bit more sound in some of his strategy.
That's probably true.
So, but it is, I mean, just a nudge here or there may have changed that whole outcome. Right.
This goes back to I was talking to some friends, and I think I've told you this too. For all the implements of war, and every war where there was a bad guy and what we considered the good guy,
Yeah.
and the good guys always won. And it seemed like that whole divine power said evil's not going to win, good is going to prevail.
Well, in the 20th century, right?
Yeah. Well, how far back?
Maybe
Tell me
the
one where the
90s.
bad guys. Tell me where the bad guys won.
Alexander the Great.
Was he a bad guy?
Yeah, those guys were pretty bad when you look at how many people they enslaved and killed.
To the same countries that were already doing it. And I would question the fact that Mao lost. He was killed. That went away.
After about 80 million people he killed. It's quite a lot.
I'm not saying there were I'm not saying there weren't losses. There was losses in every
Well,
war.
sure.
What I'm saying is the outcome was better. What I thought where the good prevailed over evil. That's all.
Yeah, and you might have to go back to the Bolsheviks revolution. You're like, was it?
I mean, even if you go back to Napoleon, right?
Well,
he lost. The English won.
Yes, but that'd be interesting. Maybe we could have a side.
Right?
Thing
I mean,
That's pretty good.
There's a divine peace that I like to think that said, evil's not going to prevail. We will prevail. The good will prevail.
Well, the mullahs have had a pretty iron hold for about 50, 60 years on Iran and that area.
No.
There's not a lot of justification for every dictator, but most of them have been deposed. True. Right. But Africa is just one big bad dude in every country. It seems.
Well, that's true, but you're right, and I don't have a good answer for that.
No. I'm not trying to pick it apart, but that's a valid thing. Also,
if you look at Hitler and what he had in 1939 when he jumped over and took out Poland, all he had to do was slow down. Take one country at a time. Slow down. Don't get 3 battlefronts going. Don't extend yourself.
He had not attacked Russia.
Well, even if he did, let's take over Europe, finish off Great Britain, because Russia wasn't going to impede anything. And then you go, now I own all of Europe. I own all the resources. Yeah. Now I'm coming for you, Russia.
Yeah. But, and then if you listen to Victor Davis Hanson's history stuff on that, and he analyzes the way that Germany fought that wasn't a surprise attack. And that's when the English and the Americans started beating them back when they were in set battles. Yeah. They lost almost all of those.
Yeah. Well, and they extended their supply lines every freaking conflict they went into.
But most of Europe were surprise attacks. Blitzkrieg.
Agreed.
Right? And then when we started, after George C. Scott got them all together down in North Africa, and we started pushing back against them, the Germans really got beat by almost every set battle where it was force on force.
Did you just say George C. Scott?
Yeah. Who played Patton?
Okay.
Go watch the movie. Come on.
I thought you were going to just go George Patton.
No, George C. Scott did it. Right?
Okay.
Right. Interesting. I love that stuff. It was that's a pretty interesting concept about who's taking over what, right? What I also thought, and this is way off the mark, but who knows? We'll
let me give you one more example. Think about the colonies when we decided to break away from the king, and we said, Boston Tea Party, you're not going to tax us anymore.
Right.
You have the most powerful army in the world in Great Britain, in England. Yeah. You have volunteers armors in the freaking colonies, right?
Right.
George Washington and the boys.
Sure.
And with a little help of the French,
A lot of help.
on the sea.
On the sea, yes. A lot of help.
But you see my point. Again, that to me was a battle, a conflict that we shouldn't have won. But we did.
No, we shouldn't have. We had no business winning. And if the British had really wanted to, right? I mean, they would have outlasted us. There's no question of it. But they were worried about the cost. They were worried about losing
The black eye they had
other
just received.
territories around the world. And with the French and the Spanish that they were still messing around with. And they were both taking the sides against Britain and how much more that was going to cost.
Right. But then again, you can see where I said, England, you are the evil doers. You're the evil guys trying to come out. And I'm not going to let that happen to the United States.
Well,
the revolutionary will become.
Let me throw this one to you. Should we have taken the Southwest from Mexico? Was that justified? Was that righteous?
No, you've got me there. I have.
Or was that just like, we want it, we're going to get it?
Or the way we treated the Indians? You know,
I'm not going to say that because the Indians were pretty bad to each other. Anyway,
agreed.
And that was 400 years of fighting with them.
Yeah.
So, but Mexico was already an established state, and you're like, maybe we should have just kind of cut it off. Why do we have to go for the Southwest? Why do we have to go do that? So
I don't have a good one there either.
But I think it's an interesting concept. It would be fun to talk about that. Not debate it, just talk about it. Like bring up examples. You know, maybe we could have a whole show on that. That would be fun.
I mean, the expansion west. I mean, definitely. I see us as the bad guys. You know, as people from Europe continue to pour in, and we expanded to the west on lands that were already occupied, and not trying to live together with them. Remove them.
Oh no.
Remove them. So we
look at the whole Oklahoma land grab.
Yeah,
that was like, that's pretty bad.
And it certainly isn't to say that we didn't occupy the role of the bad guy on a number of occasions.
But then again, you go back into that whole period of time, and conquest was conquest. That's how countries were formed.
Yeah,
you know. But anyway, that's an interesting topic. I think we should do that. We should do a whole show on that. That'd be fun.
I think it would too.
But it would require you and Jake to actually do a little research, and Jake's not going to do it.
I would.
I would too. That would be really cool to see. And on one last final note, I read this quick story about where in Czechoslovakia that they had found, or Czech Republic, sorry, Czechoslovakia, thinking of stripes, where they found like this archaeological discovery about this marketplace, and this particular period or place in the country was a big marketplace for a lot of intercontinental trading. They also found stuff that indicated that the Celts were there, and this was like 2 million BC. And I'm like, Celts? I thought Celts were just in Ireland, but I guess the Celts were pretty big early on, and they had spread across Europe. They had retreated back into Ireland, or they ended up kind of England, Ireland. But prior to that, they were all over Europe. And that whole land exchange between Germania and the Celtics and the Slavs and the Romans and the Mongols, it's like, oh my God, why are you getting on us for the Indian Wars? Look at you guys. You guys have been doing that for 400, 500, 600 years.
That's a good point. And again, I think that would fall under what you said. Conquest was a way of the world then.
Yeah, right? That's how a country got rich, was by dominating another country, taking their shit. Right?
Yeah.
So, anyway, Good one, man. I think we could set up. Maybe we even do a side podcast on history talks like that.
That'd be cool.
I mean, there's so many that are out there, and they're like, "Look at these two dicks. They don't know what they're talking about." They're like, "You're right. We don't, but we have fun talking about it."
We certainly do. We come up with some new perspectives. That's for
Yes,
sure.
we do. So, on that note, on behalf of Eric and I, and Jake, get back soon. He's out there with the SOCOM boys out there.
We
in North
missed you,
Carolina.
Jake.
Yeah, we do. I'd like to thank you for listening today. Please like, share, and subscribe, and let us know how we did in the comments. And make sure next week that you are not
Late for changeover.
Eric's good to see you. Jake, we miss you. Thanks for the week. And to everyone listening and watching, thanks for watching and listening. We'll see you next week.
Right on. See you good, everybody.